Welcome to Maths and Science series. This is Elton. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit on the notification bell so that you can be notified when we upload new lessons. Welcome. Make sure that you understand each and everything that you're going to do right now. Okay. So the telling us that a school buys tablets at a total cost of 140,000 rands if the average rate of inflation is 6.1% per annum over the next 4 years. Determine the cost of replacing these tablets in 4 years' time. So what it's telling us here is that the schools buys tablets at a cost of 140,000. So that 140, it is the value of P because the school is buying it. And inflation tells us about what? Compound interest. Remember that. Then we are given the interest rate. Then they want us to determine the value, the cost of replacing these tablets in 4 years' time. So that's the value of A because we're already given the value of N. Then we use the compound interest formula. Therefore, it's going to be A equal to, it's supposed to be 140. I made a mistake somewhere there. Please correct that. It's not 14,140. Then you divide that 6.1 by 100. Remember, so that it can be written in decimal form to the power of 4. So please make sure that you fix that value of P in your calculation. It's supposed to be 140,000, not 14,000. I hope it makes sense. I just saw it right now. Okay. So you can use your calculator, but don't forget to put what? 140,000. So this answer, I think it's incorrect in a way by decimals, I think. But please make sure that you fix it at 140, not 14,000. I hope it makes sense. But we'll continue. Okay. So determine the cost of replacing the tablet in 4 years' time is the value that we'll have in future. That's why we calculating what? The accumulated amount. So 8 points. Don't forget to fix that 14,000 to become 140. So an investment earns interest at a rate of 7% per annum, compounded semi-annually. That's 2, right? Calculate the effective interest rate of this investment. So we know that we use the nominal and effective annual rate formula. So they want us to calculate the effective, meaning that the percentage that they've given us in our statement is what? Is the I nominal, or it is nominal interest rate. Let me just fix this in I nominal. Yes. So 1 plus I EFF equal to, open bracket, 1 plus I nominal. The I nominal is 7%, therefore you divide it by 7. It will be 0.07 over the compounding period, which is 2, because they said semi-annually, to the power 2. Interest rate, let's transpose 1 to the right. So 1 plus 0.07 over 2 to the power 2 minus the 1. Therefore, IEFF equal to, you punch everything in your calculator. Remember, you do not round off before the last answer. Before the last step. So it will be 0.071225. Therefore, you can multiply it by 100. Then you round off on your last step. So it's going to be 7.12%. And this is the money that the investment earned. And the one on the statement is the annual nominal interest rate, the one that is advertised by the bank. I hope it makes sense, or any financial institution. So let's try to answer 8.3. So 8.3, they're telling us that let me just use the highlighter. A savings account was opened with the initial deposit. Remember those formulas of 24,000. 18 months later, 8,000 was withdrawn. So it's going to be minus from the initial word deposit. Then they want us to calculate how much money will be in the savings account at the end of 4 years if the interest rate was 10.5% per annum compounded monthly. That's 12, right? So the formula that we're going to have, if you remember our previous video, if you didn't watch it, make sure that you go back to that video whereby I was actually explaining the formulas and interpreting the deposits. So this is for initial. Then later there was a withdrawal of 7,000. That's why we're saying minus the factor to the power n. Okay, now they want us to calculate the future value, the accumulated amount. Therefore, the value of A equals the 24,000, the initial deposit in a savings account that was opened. 1 plus interest rate, we have 10.5% per annum, therefore we can divide it by 100 so that it can be written in decimal. Remember, we do not actually substitute it as it is, but we divide it, then we substitute it on the formula over the compounding period, then 4 times 12. Then there was a withdrawal, that's why we are subtracting. I hope that makes sense. Now they said 18 months later, but the duration or the total number of years, it is 4 years. So how many months do we have in 4 years? Then after that, we say the total number of months minus the 18 will be left with whatever number of years. We use those, months. We use those months under the withdrawal of 7,000. So 4 years, it has 48 months. So a savings account, so the initial deposit here is 24,000. Then 18 months later, there was a withdrawal of 7,000. So we must actually tackle the 4 years and 18 years. So we are subtracting, or we are withdrawing 7,000. So what is the interest rate? The interest rate is supposed to be that 10.5% per annum. I hope that makes sense. So let me just erase this password. We'll have enough space to work out our answer here, or our substitutions. Okay. Sorry. It's 0.05 over the 12 because it's compounding period monthly. Therefore, what about the number, the time period, the n after the withdrawal? So we have 4 years. How many months do we have in 4 years? We have 48 months. Then the 48 months minus the 18 months that this person actually used to withdraw the 7,000. So it's going to be that 48 times 12. It's going to give us what? 4 times 12 is going to give us 48 months, meaning in 4 years we have 48 months. Then the 48 minus 18 months, we're going to have 30 months. We have 30 months. That's the end of the withdrawal. Then after that, you punch your calculator. Don't try to make yourself a staring. Punch your calculator. So your parent actually bought that calculator so that you can use it to punch things like this to work out the numbers. Let me just use mine right now. Please don't forget to like the video. So my answer is 27,369.56 cents. So that's my answer. I don't know if it actually corresponds with what you got, but this is my answer. You can actually confirm if my answer is correct based on the substitution that we are having above the answer. Okay, so it's very important to know that after the first deposit or whatever it is, are they withdrawing or are they depositing? So 8.4, a car costing 198,000 has a book value. Okay, what you must know about what is known as a book value. A book value is one and the same thing as the accumulated amount. So when they talk about the book value, that's A. So meaning that this 102,755.34 is the book value, is A. After 3 years, if the value of the car depreciates, it loses value, right? Losing power or losing value, yes. I want us to calculate R. Then they told us about reducing balance method to the power n, right? So you know that I to the power n, let me just explain it this right here. And you know that interest rate equals R over 100. That's what we are doing when we substitute. So where there's interest rate, you can put R over 100. It's up to you. It's one the same thing, even when you multiply at the end, as we've been doing. So 102,755.34 equal to the 198,000. 1 minus, we don't have the value of I, right? Then 3, that's 3 years. We divide both sides by 198,000 to make the interest rate the subject of the formula. Then when we multiply the answer of interest rate by 100, it gives us the R. I hope it makes sense. Then let me try to use my calculator. Remember, you do not round off before the last step of your answer. Okay, so I got 0.51896636636 equal to 1 minus interest rate to the power of 3. Then we put a cube root both sides to remove that exponent 3 on the right. So what you do on the left, you also do that on the right. You have been taught that in grade 1. Okay, I'm just trying to calculate, use my calculator here to get the answer on the left hand side, because on the right hand side we automatically eliminated that exponent 3 by the cube root. So I got 0.80361,19818 equal to 1 minus the interest rate. Then what we have on the left, we subtract 1 from that thing, so we're going to have negative 0.1963, transpose the 1 to the left, then we're having this negative answer equals negative interest rate. Then you divide both sides by the negative 1. Then the answer that we'll be having is what? The interest rate. And they didn't want us to determine the interest rate, they wanted what? R. Then what we're going to do, we're going to multiply by 100. Then it becomes R. I hope that makes sense. So you multiply it by 100 to become R. So the answer now is R. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to punch it in my calculator. So when it's like this, it's one the same thing as R. 19.64%. So this is our answer. So in finance, it's all about understanding the statement. After the deposit, whoever that person, did he withdraw or deposit? Then we can take it from there.